Welcome back. You're watching The Appointment. We're in conversation with the I&B and Environment Minister, Prakash Javadekar. Let me ask you, Mr. Javadekar, about the information on broadcasting portfolio that you also hold. There's been a lot of talk on whether the FDI cap for broadcasting and print is actually going to be hiked. The Mairam committee had suggested hiking the cap to 49%. You, in some conversations, have suggested that the cap could in fact be hiked all the way to 100%. What is your position on FDI in the broadcast and media sector, sir?
I'll tell you, the real truth is this, that every reporter who interviews me asks this question, but not a single company has really asked for increasing, or nobody has applied for increase in FDI cap. That's the issue, A. And B, already entertainment we have 100% FDI. In news we have only 26%. There are many stakeholders to that, and therefore at present it's a 26%. And as I told you, there are no new applications with us for increase.
So you're going to wait for new applications before you take a policy decision on whether or not the FDI limit should be raised in the sector?
No, it's not about. After all, it's always a demand and supply. You can't just take policy decisions in vacuum.
Okay, let me ask you then.
The sector needs to represent that, whether they really want it or not.
Okay, let me ask you about recommendations made by the TRAI.
There are various aspects to it.
Let me ask you about recommendations made by the TRAI, since you're talking about policy decisions. And the TRAI has very categorically suggested or recommended that there be no political ownership of any broadcast media. And they've also talked about restricting corporate ownership. What is the government's position on both these issues, and what do you make of the TRAI recommendations?
Our view is this, that the cross-media ownership is a serious issue, and it needs to be studied further, and the recommendations are of far-reaching consequences, and very important one. As a press council, when I was member of the Press Council of India, we had given this report, earlier report of TRAI, the consultation paper, to the PCI also, and we had also given our comments there as a PCI member. Now I am being the minister. We are now studying the final report of the TRAI, at our end.
But what is your position, sir? Do you believe that there should be no political ownership, and do you believe that corporate ownership should be restricted? What is your position as the minister, sir?
No, there is no individual position on such issues. We take a collective decision. Let my ministry finish the study. We are consulting with all the stakeholders, and after assessing their views also and studying further the TRAI recommendations, we'll come out with something.
Okay. I want to ask you now for clarification on your government's position as far as GM crops are concerned, because there's been a lot of back and forth on that. What I heard from you in your last comments was that the government will decide its position on GM crops after the Supreme Court gives its verdict on the issue. A PIL has been filed in the Supreme Court. I understand that the next hearing is on the 16th of September. So the government is, in a sense, washing its hands off and saying that the Supreme Court will decide, and whatever the Supreme Court decides, that's the view of the government.
No, I have not said this. I have said that once the matter is before the Supreme Court, you can't do, I declare one policy today, and Supreme Court says something else on 16, just 5 days after today. So this should not happen. So let us wait for next week, whatever Supreme Court comes with, because they appointed a committee. They appointed a committee where the 3 people were by the petitioners, the 3 experts were nominated by the government, and all 6 have given 2 kinds of reports, one interim and one final report. So those reports are now before the court. So let us see how the court comes up and decides about the case. We will also take decision thereafter.
You know, you started by saying that your ministry had acquired...
But as I told you, we don't want it to, you can't stop science or research, but at the same time, food safety is a very important issue.
But if the Supreme Court were to say that, say no to GM crops, would your ministry or would your government appeal that decision?
I will not prejudge what the Supreme Court is going to say. After Supreme Court gives its verdict, we'll give our position.
Mr. Javadekar, you started by saying that your ministry, the Environment Ministry, had acquired a negative image under the UPA, that it had too many no-go areas. It was perceived as a speed breaker ministry. You also then went on to say that you have no pending files on your table today. Mr. Javadekar, explain to us and give us specifics in terms of the value of the projects that have been cleared by your ministry under your leadership.
I have neither calculated the value, but it's a good suggestion, but I'll ask my officials to compile the data. But the issue is this, that we are not seeing who is the applicant. We don't know the faces of the applicant, and we are working on policy decisions. And therefore, things are getting decided in record time. That's the difference we have made. And my predecessor has put so many no-go boards, no-go, no-go, no-go. So people were started asking, jaye to jaye kahan? So ye paristhiti thi. We have changed this.
Mr. Javadekar, before I let you go, this business of online submission for forest and environmental clearances, I'm not quite certain how that's been able to bring down the time for clearances. Can you tell us about how long it used to take previously and what this online submission mechanism has actually done to speed up the process?
Yes, unnecessary delays at each stage are now being monitored, and therefore unnecessary delays are out. That's the first benefit. Second, to bring down the time span of the whole process is underway. We are working on various models by which we can bring down the timeline for clearances and make it more transparent. So the transparency has happened. The speed has gained, unnecessary delays have been deleted, and now we want to not cut short the process, but we want to make it more efficient so that the way. I asked why there is a delay, because there are so many applications, so they said that expert appraisal committee sits only once a month. I said why? Why not for 2 months? Oh, we can't service them then. It's a big work. Supporting staff. I said we'll increase the supporting staff. We'll have 2 supporting staff teams, but we will have 2 meetings in a month. We can double the speed. That's how we are going ahead.
All right, Mr. Javadekar, we wish you the very best of luck, and we do hope that in both the ministries that you man, I and B as well as environment, we see decisions being taken. Appreciate your time here on CNBC TV 18. With that, it's time for us to wrap up the appointment. We'll see you again next week. Till then, from everyone here on the team, goodbye. Many thanks for watching.